So the secret to all this is that nothing becomes a reality until you have observed it. There is an old saying that you might recognize. If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, does it make a sound? Or if there's no one there to see it fall, did it ever really fall? It is not until you go and observe the tree that is down, then it becomes a reality. So you see, with all the possibilities that can be experienced, when you come in contact with a certain source of information, there are multiple choices on which events can happen. And the one that's happening to you is the one that you come in contact with at that particular moment to be observed by you. So this is a play that will bring a lot of confusion into your reality when you start to think of the things that you are looking at. Although they have a sense of history, they don't actually exist until you have observed them. For example, the tree that has fallen, that didn't come into existence until someone or you have observed it. I understand how hard it is to understand that what I am talking about is coded information. That your reality is almost like a hologram, per se, because none of this really exists. And the reason why it doesn't exist is just simply because it's information coming from the source to project an idea that your reality exists. So when you see other people are part of the reality that's being created only for you. Does that mean that they don't really exist? Yes and no. And that's what's difficult to understand. Yes, they exist. They are at play within the reality that you are observing. They too have an observation to which you are now a part of their reality. However, the two consciousnesses that are separate, theirs and yours, are both connected to the ultimate source of information. Since this reality is strictly for you to observe, that means that the only real consciousness at play is the one that's in your mind. But what I am saying is that everything that you're having a relationship with is part of everything. The people that you have a relationship with are connected to the source. You are actually having an emotional connection with the source through other people. It's pretty complicated, and I'm really not trying to confuse you. However, you must understand that all those people that are in existence and their time before you existed are just coming into reality as you observe them. So think of anybody that you know. They're having an experience themselves, but you have a path that you're on. And every moment of this path, there are multiple possibilities of experiences. And before you can go into one direction or go into another direction, but you don't really get to choose so much. But I'll explain this secret in a moment. There is a possibility of directing your own path. But the path that you're on, every moment branches off into different possibilities to which you are only the one observing the one that you're on. Okay? So then other possible yous of yourself have already branched off to experience those other possible experiences. That is to say that the journey that you're on is a pattern of information that you will end up to a destined experience. And that includes the entire world that's going on. Whether the world is at peace or at war, that is what you are meant to experience. And that is the key to all existence, is experiencing all those things. If you have a destined outcome. Let's just say in 10 years, a certain disaster will happen to you. You say, can you change that course? The answer is you can never change that course if it was destined. What would end up happening is that another version of yourself will follow a different path to which a different outcome arises. You may say to yourself, I wish to be on that path, but whichever path is going to end up happening is the one that you were destined to. So whatever you choose to do from this point on isn't going to change the future. It's just going to change your perception of the future. So, for example, if someone were to tell you what your future is, and that someone will tell you that in 5 years, something is going to happen, something disastrous is going to happen, and you wish to change that reality. Let's just say the actions that you take don't bring you on that path. It brings you on a different path, a nicer path. The truth is you are always going to go to this path. The observation of someone telling you about the disaster was all meant to be. It was all at play. You never changed your reality at all. It's just your perception of the reality changed. Okay? Now, to bring it all together, there is a very interesting point that you need to understand about this, is that history, before you existed, also comes into reality the moment you become an observer. Your mother and your father and all this never exists until you come into reality. It feels as though they've been there because they have a history that's encoded into your life, into your reality. It's all encoded. It was already set there. There are an endless potential of histories that you could be sprouting from as well, you see? So, in a sense, life only begins at the moment you become an observer. So the tree that fell, that had a history, that only came into your reality the moment you observed it, has a history to it. So, if the entire universe is 13 plus billion years old, that has only come into reality the moment you became an observer. So this is where science and religion can start to mold themselves into one. The creation of life, according to many of the more popular religions, explain the dark void, explain the sense of direction, explain light, explain motion, explain reality. So can the world be old and yet reality only came into existence the moment you were born? That's exactly what I'm saying. And let that sink in, because everything that you come into contact with, has a history of its own, has an observation of its own, and it is in your reality for a reason. This is important to understand because now, from now on, you can take everything in your existence without judgment. You don't have to judge the people who are in your life anymore. They were there for a reason. For their goodness and for their flaws. For your goodness, for your flaws. All those good things that you've done and all those things that you regret. And it goes as far as the most grievable things you've ever experienced, including the death of members that you love or things that you love. The destruction of the things that you hold on to. All those things have been in your existence for a reason, and what has happened in your reality happened for a reason. And you are the person you are from all this experience. And what happens from now into the future will happen because it's predestined. And I know some of you are going to tell me that fate and reality don't coexist, that you determine your future. I get that. I get that argument. But that's only from a three-dimensional, observable reality without understanding the source of all information. And once you understand all this and why you exist and why you're having an experience, then you'll understand that your future is predestined. And that whatever you end up making of your life, although in one sense feels like you have determined it, it hasn't. It is just like every solid object that you come in contact in your three-dimensional world that you live in, it is solid. And that time really does exist. All this to say that your experience in life feels real, and that it feels like you are making the choices that bring you through your journey. And that every once in a while things happen without your control, and that you have to come up with troubleshooting solutions and making decisions and taking action in it. Because you are. They are both at play. Reality and this illusion are both at play. You are feeling like you are a part of it, and that is what makes reality feel real. I pinch you, you get hurt. If you sit and do nothing, nothing in life will really happen for you. You have to participate. You have to do. Here's the trick, you see. Here is the trick in your reality to make you feel as though you are creating a better path for yourself. I want you to understand it's predestined. However, the trick is like this. With all this information of vibrating energies that are around you, that are creating all this reality, you are all connected to the consciousness. Now, the consciousness, if you wish to have a different observation of the world, you only need to put yourself in the right vibration. So you have a low or dark vibration of negativity, and you have a bright, beautiful vibration of wonders and greatness, beauty. If you're in one area in your life and you're stuck there, and that's a way you're always thinking, you're always viewing things in a negative way, things are going to become that for your reality. You will experience this over and over and over. However, if you see things differently, if you begin to feel things differently in a more positive way, you will experience things that will become as great and wonderful as the feelings that you are hoping to feel, the things that you're projecting in your mind. Things come into reality this way. You're driving your path. So which energy are you going to feed? Are you going to feed the negative energy, or are you going to feed the positive energy? That doesn't mean that things aren't going to come and challenge you. We need contrast, remember? So when things are wonderful, we still have to have contrast. Things are going to challenge you. Things are going to bring you down. And you just let it. But then don't find yourself in this area where it just drags you down to an abominable pit of gloom and doom for the rest of your life. You can follow this path to greatness. And that I leave with you to think. Life is beautiful. You are beautiful. Until next time, I wish you well.